Welcome to the ultimate overview of USMLE resources. As you can see, there are many tools available to help you prepare efficiently. From video libraries like Kaplan, Boards and Beyond, Mailmen, online MedEd, and Najib lectures to visual learning platforms like Sketchy. For your question practice and self-assessment, there are Qbanks such as UWorld, AMBOSS, Kaplan Qbank, USMLE RX, Mailman Qbank, and official NBME assessments. Choosing the right resources depends on your background. If you are a medical student, a structured path from foundational textbooks to videos, first aid, and Qbanks works best. If you're a graduate who has completed medical school, you may skip straight to videos, first aid, and Qbanks. This slide gives you a visual snapshot of all the major USMLE resources, which we'll break down in detail in the following slides. This slide shows the complete flow of USMLE resources, from foundational knowledge to final assessment. We start with foundation books, which give you the core concepts needed for all subjects. Next, video resources help reinforce concepts and provide visual explanations, making understanding easier. After that, first aid acts as the central annotation and integration book, where all your notes and references come together. Then come question banks, like UWorld and AMBOSS, which provide active learning through practice questions. Finally, NBME and self-assessments help you measure your performance and track exam readiness. This flow moves from concepts to integration, practice, assessment, and final consolidation, ensuring a structured USMLE preparation. Now let's look at the foundation books for your preclinical years. These are the core texts that will help you understand physiology, pathology, anatomy, pharmacology, and biochemistry. Some essential ones include Guyton's Physiology, Harper's Biochemistry, Katzung's Pharmacology, Robbins' Pathology, and Gray's Anatomy. Of course, there are many books out there, but these are great examples to guide your studies. Remember, a strong foundation in these subjects is crucial before moving on to videos, first aid, and question banks. All right, now that you've mastered the basics, it's time to focus on clinical books. These are your guides for real patient care, helping you apply what you learned in preclinical years. Some key texts include Harrison's for Internal Medicine, Nelson for Pediatrics, Williams for Obstetrics, Bailey and Love for Surgery, and Kumar and Clark for General Clinical Medicine. Use these books to understand diseases, treatments, and patient management, and to prepare for clinical-style questions with confidence. Now let's look at the complete picture of essential medical textbooks. This slide combines both preclinical and clinical resources, giving you a full overview of the books that build your medical knowledge from the basics to patient care. There are many other great resources. I am just giving you examples that in medical school books are great for knowledge and concept buildings. Let's talk about core video resources. This is where your real understanding is built. Kaplan, Boards and Beyond, and MedQuest are not just videos, they are structured teaching systems. You use them to clarify mechanisms, not to passively binge watch. For pathology, Pathoma is gold. It simplifies complex pathology into patterns the USMLE loves to test. Whitecoat Companion and Master the Boards help with structured review, especially when you start integrating Step 2 concepts. Now, Mailman is different. Mailman is exam-focused. It highlights high-yield NBME themes and recurring concepts, but it works best after your foundation is solid. It sharpens. It doesn't build from zero. And here's the rule most students miss. Don't just watch. Annotate. Almost every platform gives you a book or PDF. While watching, annotate directly into your main integration source, usually first aid. Watching gives clarity. Annotating builds retention. Integration creates performance. If you use these platforms strategically, not randomly, this becomes your core engine for USMLE success. Now let's talk about supplementary video resources. These are not your core learning platforms. They are support systems. Dr. Najib's lectures are extremely detailed. If your basic concepts are very weak, especially in physiology or neuroanatomy, his lectures can rebuild your foundation. But they are time-consuming, so they should be used selectively. Bootcamp and online MedEd are relatively newer compared to traditional platforms like Kaplan or Boards and Beyond. They are structured, concise, and very handy for quick reinforcement, especially when you want clarity without going too deep. Sketchy is excellent for visual memory, particularly microbiology and pharmacology. Randy Neal is gold for biostatistics, very practical and exam-focused. Anki is not a teaching tool, it is a retention tool. It works only after you understand the concept, and this is the rule. Do not overload yourself. Use these platforms based on your weak areas, your learning style, your exam phase. Core resources build your structure. Supplementary resources fine-tune it. Strategic selection prevents burnout and maximizes retention. Now this is the anchor of your entire preparation. First aid is not just a book, it is your central integration system. Every video you watch, every question you solve, every weak area you fix, everything should eventually condense into first aid. It is your primary annotation book. Videos integrate here, Qbanks integrate here. It becomes your high-yield master reference for exam-relevant facts. During preparation, it serves as your running notes hub. And during the final weeks, it becomes your rapid revision weapon. Here's the principle I want you to remember. If it is not in your first aid, it is not consolidated. Scattered notes create scattered performance. Integrated notes create exam clarity. First aid is not optional. It is the spine of structured USMLE preparation. Now we move to the most important tool, Qbanks. Videos build understanding. Qbanks build performance. UWorld and AMBOSS are the main choices. UWorld is highly exam-aligned. It trains USMLE-style thinking. AMBOSS helps with concept linking. Great if you like layered explanations. Other options exist too. Kaplan, USMLE RX, and Mailman Qbank. Kaplan helps early for extra volume. USMLE RX reinforces first aid. Mailman is NBME-oriented and high-yield. Best for sharpening after basics are strong. Key rule: don't jump between Qbanks. Choose one primary Qbank. Finish it thoroughly. Review deeply. Don't chase percentages. Chase understanding. Right answer and why. Wrong answers and why. Then add key points into first aid. Depth creates confidence. Repetition creates mastery. Now we move from learning to measuring. NBMEs are not study tools, they are performance indicators. NBME practice exams are the most predictive of real USMLE performance. Take them seriously. Exam conditions, timed, no pausing, no looking up answers. Otherwise, the score is meaningless. Beyond NBME forms, UWorld self-assessments, often slightly harder. CMS forms, very important for Step 2 CK, free 120. Official sample questions. Key principle: Qbanks are for learning. NBMEs are for evaluation. Learn first, measure later. Adjust strategy based on data. USMLE preparation follows a strategic flow. First, foundation. Build core concepts using books and structured videos. Second, first aid, your central integration hub. Everything condenses here. Third, Qbanks. Theory becomes exam thinking. Fourth, self-assessments. Measure readiness, adjust strategy. Foundation builds knowledge. First aid integrates it. Qbanks apply it. Assessments validate it. Follow this flow. Preparation becomes structured, not overwhelming. Strategy beats resource overload. Let me reinforce something important. First aid is not your primary learning source. It is your consolidation tool. It is a high-yield integration notebook. You annotate into it from videos. You integrate into it from Qbanks. Over time, it becomes your master summary book. If something is not integrated into first aid, it is not truly consolidated. This is how scattered preparation becomes structured preparation. All major Qbanks are good. UWorld, AMBOSS, Mailman. The key is not which one. The key is commitment. Choose one primary Qbank. During rotations, do subject-wise blocks. As you move closer to the exam, switch to random timed blocks. Train your brain for real exam conditions. And remember, depth of review is more important than volume. It's not about how many questions you finish. It's about how deeply you understand each one. NBME is your readiness indicator. It predicts performance. But don't focus on one score. Focus on the trend. One low score means nothing. A rising trend means progress. A stable plateau means readiness. And most importantly, do not schedule the exam based on emotion. Schedule it based on stable performance across multiple NBMEs. Data over feelings, trend over panic. NBME tells you when you're ready. For graduates, especially passed-out medical students, strategy must be different. This is not MBBS preparation again. Skip full standard textbooks. They are detailed, time-consuming, and not exam-focused. Instead, move directly to structured video resources to rebuild concepts efficiently. Integrate first aid from the beginning, and start Qbank early. Subject-wise first, then random timed blocks, then NBME. This approach is focused, high-yield, and exam-oriented. Graduates don't need depth of textbooks. They need clarity, integration, and performance. Let me end with this. USMLE is not about intelligence. It is about structure. Limit your resources. Repeat, revise, reinforce. Do not chase new materials. Master the ones you chose. This exam rewards consistency, not bursts of intensity. Small, structured daily progress beats occasional marathon study sessions. Stay disciplined, trust the process, and let data guide your decisions. Consistency beats intensity.